Hello, this is Quincy Collins here with our final episode of Stay Green Golf. Throughout the web series, we've been discussing different ways that you, as the viewer, can change up your game and make adjustments in your habits in order to make golf a more ecologically friendly game. However, it is also important to institutionally ask for change. Whether it be going to your local golf course and talking to the superintendent or even going as high as the PGA, it is very important that we are able to make this game more ecologically friendly and sustainable so that we can all enjoy it for a longer period of time while minimizing our impact on the environment. So with that being said, I'm going to go over 10 different ways that you can advocate to whether it be your superintendent or to whatever superior you may see fit, ways that we can make golf more ecologically friendly. The first of which would be chemical reduction. Obviously, there are a lot of herbicides, pesticides, and fertilizers that are needed in order to make the golf courses beautiful and as playable as possible. However, there are ways to make different changes and that the chemicals don't have to be so harmful to the environment. Obviously, using less chemicals is always better. A lot of times they go overkill and put way too many chemicals in the grass and try to fix a problem that really isn't even broken to begin with. So with that being said, advocate for more responsible use of chemicals. Obviously, a complete reduction is out of the question, as that is simply not realistic in the golf industry. The second way that you can advocate is to reduce mowing. A lot of people are rather stingy in saying that the rough needs to be between 1.5 and 2 inches high. Rather, let's work on your shots out of the rough. Obviously, having an extra quarter inch of grass isn't going to affect play too much, especially for the average weekender like yourself and myself. When you get up into the pros and go to the TPC courses, obviously it's a little bit bigger of a problem then, but it's also the caliber of the player that's able to recognize those small little changes. However, by reducing the mowing, we're not putting as many emissions into the air because obviously we're not sending as many mowers out, and additionally that helps reduce labor cost, which, if we're lucky, could be our lead to reduced green fees to players such as yourself and myself. Also, lobby for water reduction. At the US Open, we saw on the sides of the fairways that they were starting to get a little bit more brown. Obviously, not a lot of people like that. When we think of golf courses, we think of nice, lush green fairways. However, at Pinehurst, they actually went the other way this year and switched to a single tier mowing or single tier watering system where there's only one set of sprinklers. That can be a lot more efficient with the water usage, and once again, it can drive down costs. Additionally, by just allowing the rainwater to fall and not trying to sop it up so fast, that can also help us in helping to reduce the irrigation fees. Finally, advocate to buy local products. Obviously, when you buy international products, a lot of times the quality is not nearly as high as you'd find here in the US, and additionally, you have to pay for transportation costs, and the transportation costs also translate into harmful effects on the environment. Whether it be by boat, air, or automobile, there's always gases being used, and there's always harmful emissions that can really deplete the ozone layer. So therefore, if we buy local, not only can we help stimulate local economy, but we can also help drive down emissions that are an aggregate product of what we love to do. Next, advocate for using electric mowers. Obviously, gas mowers are known as the more conventional product, and to be honest, we even use them in neighborhoods today. However, by switching to electric mowers, once again, we can do our part in making just a smaller reduction in the amount of greenhouse gases emitted. Also, the course won't have to pay for the gas that powers their mowers, which obviously spans into the thousands on thousands of dollars per year. Therefore, by helping to reduce costs for the golf courses, maybe we can get our own green fees driven down a little bit as well. Next, compost. By making compost, which most golf courses already do, it's an easy way to be able to help fertilize and provide nutrients to their own soil where they see fit. This isn't a matter of whether or not to do it, it's a matter of whether or not asking the question of why aren't they doing compost. It's an extremely effective and an extremely helpful strategy, so they should all implement it in the first place. Next, ask for your golf course to be as organic as possible. However, there is a negative connotation for a lot of people when they hear organic, particularly in corporations. The negative connotation is cost. People think of organic matters as a much, much more expensive commodity. However, that's not the case. Companies such as BioGreen have been making green fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides for golf courses for years now. By using these organic different chemicals, it not only really helps to make the grass still grow as lush and green as we would like to be able to see it on the course, but it also helps drive down those costs and maybe not even have to use them as much. One of our last things that we'll be taking a look at is recycling. Obviously, there is a little bit of debate on recycling, but however, that really should not deter us from doing it anyway. By making sure that we recycle, it helps us reuse the plastics so that we don't have to use as many so that we don't emit as many greenhouse gases and have to use as many fossil fuels to make these plastics as much as possible. Next, advocate for a sustainable shop. Whether that be using motion censored lights, energy efficient light bulbs, low flush toilets, solar water heaters, or even non-toxic cleaners, all of these things in aggregate together can form one product that is more environmentally sustainable and more ecologically friendly. The last thing I would really like to leave you guys with is just realizing how important this environmental issue really is. You know, growing up in my day and age, and even going into past generations, into my parents' generations, or even my great grandparents' generations, the problems of pollution weren't nearly as high. And it seems that just now is really when we've kind of been recognizing how big of a problem it's become. However, if we want to keep having these beautiful golf courses and beautiful nature areas available for my children and my children's children, then what we really need to do is make the change now.